Christopher Vivell at it again, finding the next young gem signings for Manchester United. Vivell brought in Sekou Kone last year. He also brought in Diego Leon, the young left wing back from South America. But he's back in Africa looking at some young gems. We also know that United have brought in Enzo Canavic, who's on loan at Lausanne as well. And we know one thing about Christopher Vivell. He likes to look at young gems in Africa, all across the world, and Man United could be closing in on two. One of them is seen as one of the highest rated players in Africa. Another one is seen as the next Virgil van Dijk. We're going to talk about those two young players that United might be looking to bring in. We're going to talk about Sen Lemens. He's obviously not going to start tomorrow. Amorim has confirmed that Bayern will start tomorrow versus Manchester City, but I want to get in on Amorim's comments on Bayern, Onana, Lemens, and the whole goalkeeping situation. Amorim has spoken about Onana. Onana has left the club. Why Onana has left the club. We will talk about Sesko. Will he start versus Manchester City tomorrow? Brian Mbeumo wins Player of the Month. And then we will talk a little bit about JJ Gabriel. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to your 10-minute Manchester United news, transfer news, and update roundup show. I do apologise that I have not been live for the last few days. I normally go live at least 5 times a week, and I've probably been live like twice this week. It is because there's just not loads on at the moment. It's the international break, the transfer window's over. I've just been doing short videos because I think that's the best way to get through the news. I think lives will definitely return Monday because then we have the match on Sunday to talk about and there's a lot more. But that's just why. So I do apologise for the lack of live streams. I've also been busy. We also have updates that Marmoush, Cherki and Ait Nouri will not be in the Manchester City squad tomorrow, but we will also be without Cunha, Mount and Zerlo in the injury front. But let's get into the news. Manchester United are expected to join the bidding for Ajax centre-back Aaron Bowman, touted as the next Van Dijk. Now, I'm not going to act like I go and know about all the Dutch centre-backs and all the best Dutch young players in the world. That would be crazy. But he's an 18-year-old centre-back that is very highly rated, that plays for Ajax, that is obviously being linked to Barcelona. It screams Barcelona because he's very technically good, very good on the ball, very highly rated, seen as the next Van Dijk. Played an Eredivisie game so far, playing 90 minutes for Ajax just before the international break as well. And look, we know what Ajax have produced, Hato, Yuri and Timber. We know the Ajax Academy can produce. And look, he's not played a lot of first-team football yet, but as a player that is very highly rated, very good on the ball, very technically good. Barcelona are keeping an eye on him, and he could be the next Van Dijk. We've seen Lenny Yoro being 18, coming in, proving he's ready. We've seen how Aiden Heaven has come in. I'm all for United going and getting another young centre-back. I'm very happy with our centre-backs. I think if Lissandro can stay fit, he's a good player. I quite like Luke Shaw at left centre-back this season. I like Masraoui at right centre-back. I love Lenny Yoro. I like Aiden Heaven. I think De Ligt is solid. I think Maguire's solid. But I do think we'll need another one for depth. So if United want to look at a young centre-back as an understudy for depth, I'm not going to say no. But there is another player they're looking at over in Africa. Now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I heard of this player before today, because I don't, believe it or not, I do not watch, Gambia under 17s. I don't watch Gambia under 17s. I like to watch a lot of football, but I can't watch it all, because I'll probably get one person comment saying, "You're a football YouTuber, how come you've never watched Gambia under 17s? I haven't. But Manchester United are considering a move to sign Gambian teenage sensation Moussa Anne. United scouts have been intended to watch the Gambian under-17 centre-back play for Samja FC, who have a track record for developing young talents, which they do. There's actually a lot of really good young talents coming out of Africa, particularly Gambia. They're looking to develop players there. And I have to say, I think the African market is somewhere that gets ignored. People look at South America a lot and they look at Europe, but I do think there's some really good gems in the African market. There's some really good African footballers out there, and I quite like that Vivell is really interested in that market. And we're looking at, obviously, teenager Moussa Anne. Now, again, I'm not going to act like I've watched him play, but he's, again, another young centre-back. We look at Sekou Kone, how technically good he is, how I think, physically, I think he's got good attributes, and I trust Christopher Vivell, and it looks like Manchester United are really looking and considering making a move for two young centre-backs. Something says to me, I don't know if we'd sign both, but I think Manchester United want to bring in another young centre-back this summer. Let me know your thoughts down below. Let's dive into the next story. So, some people are crying online that Amorim said that Bayern is going to start versus Man City and not Lemens. The same people that are crying that Sesko hasn't started a game yet. Lemens is very young, not played much professional football. I get why Bayandi is starting. Sesko's come, he wasn't fully fit when he joined. I get why he didn't start the opening games. Also, Mount and Cunha were good. It'd be nice to see Sesko start versus Manchester City tomorrow. Lemens, I understand why he's not starting. If Bayandi makes a mistake, we're going to be sitting there thinking he should have played Lemens, but I get why he's not throwing Lemens in the deep end. Amorim was asked on why he signed Lemens. Sometimes you as a club, you try to see different options, one or another. We have an option that can give us different things in the moment, but also has a great potential to be our goalkeeper for a number of years. Basically, we've signed Lemens because his numbers are good, his stats are good, he looks really good, he's a really good promising young keeper, he's not on crazy wages, he's not cost a lot of money, so if it doesn't work, we can sell him and move on from him quite easily. But it's someone there that looks better and could challenge Bayindir and be better than what we have, because Onana and Bayindir were not reliable enough. That's why we signed Lemens. He's expected to be number one. He's expected to be first choice. He's favourite to be first choice. He's just not the first choice yet. Continuing on Onana. Amorim spoke about Andre Onana and said he did a very good first season at Inter, and there is obviously the quality in Onana. But in the club, sometimes things is getting harder and harder, and in this club, the pressure is so hard, and every detail you need to change. I believe in Olte, he's ready to play. Amorim basically said on Onana, there's no doubt his mind Onana's a good keeper. We saw it at Inter, but it's a different level at Manchester United. It's a different, you've got to be able to deal with the pressure. And that's why I say with Lemens. Lemens looks good. Lemens looks better than Onana. But I can't sit here and say that in a Man United shirt, he's going to be amazing. Because it's a different level being a goalkeeper at United. Onana was fantastic at Inter. But at United, you're under the spotlight more than any other keeper. You go to Everton, you can make a mistake here or there. It's going to be ignored. You go to Manchester United, you could have 10 fantastic games as a goalkeeper. You make one mistake, and they're not going to forget about that. And it's not just about how good you are. I think Onana was a good keeper. He can't do it at United. I think Lemens is a good keeper. It's can you also do it at Manchester United? And that will be the big question of Lemens. You're a good keeper. You're a good young promising keeper. But can you do it at Manchester United where you make one mistake and you're going to be made out as if you're the worst keeper in the world, even if you've had 10, 12 really good games? It's a different kind of pressure to play for United. And as Amorim said on Onana, we needed to change. We needed to change the goalkeeper. Yes, it was a pressure. Yes, it's hard for Onana, but there's a point you get to where you're like, you know what? We need to change that. So yeah, he had some bad luck. He had some bad moments, but he wasn't good enough, and we needed to change, and we needed to upgrade the keeper. Now, talking of a player that should start for me, Sesko. I like Joshua Zirkzee, but Joshua Zirkzee is probably less fit than Sesko right now. Joshua Zirkzee came back later than Sesko. He had less of a pre-season than Sesko. So I would like to see Sesko start versus Man City. I think he's got the pace. I think he's got the hunger. I think he would suit this kind of game. And I'd like to see Bruno and Mbeumo at 10s behind Sesko creating for him. We've got no Cunha. We've got no Mount. The question is, do we play Amad and Mbeumo at 10 and Mazraoui at right wing back and have Bruno deeper? I personally would either have Bruno further up creating with Mbeumo and have Maino Casemiro pivot, or an Agate Casemiro pivot, depending on what kind of vibe you want. I guess Agate Casemiro is more defensively secure, but no one can progress the ball. Maino Casemiro pivot means we'll probably have a bit more control in midfield and we can progress the ball. I would have Amad at right wing back. I'd have Yoro at centre back. I'd have De Ligt at centre back, and I'd like to see Mazraoui back at centre back. I thought he was really good in his cameo, but I'd probably just keep Luke Shaw at the left side of centre back for now. Dorgu left wing back. I mean, I quite like to see a Maino Casemiro pivot. I know that it lacks legs, but I want to see Sesko start up top tomorrow. I'm not sure if he will, but I think there's a big chance. Also, just a big shout out to Mbeumo for winning Player of the Month. Been really impressive this first month. Got some good goals. Happy with the Mbeumo signing. Happy with Watson from Cunha as well. Just a shame he's picked up an injury. And last but not least, I saw this story posted by MUFC MPP2. When JJ Gabriel met Ruben Amorim recently, he was told that he would spend time training with Manchester United's first team later this season. There is an outside chance Gabriel will make his first team debut before the season ends. So that was said by Goal, that Ruben Amorim and JJ Gabriel had meetings. Now, Barcelona were trying to sign JJ Gabriel. There's a lot of clubs that were hovering him this summer, and Manchester United managed to keep him and sign him down for another 2 years. I'm assuming one of the reasons we've got JJ Gabriel to stay is the promise of, we're going to give you game time very soon. We've got a plan to develop you. We're throwing you into the under-18s. There's a promise that he's going to train with the first team and make his debut soon. And I think that's what United have done to try and convince JJ Gabriel to stay at the club and sign on with the club. There's always a risk in 2 years that Barcelona go back in for him and try and sign him. And look, if Barcelona are as good as they are right now and we're as crap as we are right now, in 2 years' time, it will obviously be difficult to keep him. But especially when you see Ineos looking to sell a lot of the academy players, but hopefully that's not the case. Shea Lacey, JJ Gabriel, generational talents. Wish them all the best. Anyway, thank you for watching today's video. See you next time. Bye.